In this edition of In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, our special guest is quarterback coach Dan Pitcher. Boy, he's done a great job helping Joe Burrow get ready to play at such a high level. I mean, the preparation, it's not just Joe Burrow with preparation all week long. It's Coach Pitcher being a contributor to all the information that's gathered and presented to Joe Burrow. And that's vitally important. Joe Burrow will tell you that that's vitally important to him getting ready to play football at a high level. And coaches live vicariously through the success of their players. So Coach Pitcher must be living a good vicarious life because Joe Burrow is playing at an extremely high level. Let's find out what Coach Pitcher has to say about this big matchup with the Titans. Welcome once again to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. We're in our outstanding First Star Logistics studios, as always, and we're joined by an outstanding football coach, Bengals quarterback coach, and pitcher. Coach, unbelievable season by the Cincinnati Bengals offensively, and by your quarterback in particular, Joe Burrow. This guy is playing at an incredibly high level, 280 passes without a turnover, without an interception. Second only in terms of a length of a streak to the great Aaron Rodgers. What about Joe Burrow, Coach? I mean, what more can you say about this guy than hasn't been said?
Well, you just said it. I mean, he's playing at a super high level. That's what he expects of himself. That's the best part about coaching Joe is, there's nobody with higher expectations for Joe Burrow than Joe Burrow. And everybody else just kind of falls in line after that. So, really happy with how he's been playing, doing our best to continue putting him in situations where he can do what few guys are suited to do. And we're looking to continue that this weekend.
When you think back to the Raiders game, the touchdown pass to C.J. Uzomah, the timing of that touchdown pass couldn't have been any better. The throw that he made to C.J. Uzomah against cover 2, and CJ's one-on-one with the linebacker running up the slot, and he just drops a dime over the linebacker's head for 29, 30 yards, whatever it was. And then the touchdown that he improvised and created to Tyler Boyd just before he steps out of bounds. I mean, those three plays alone are something else. That happened in the biggest pressure situations of a playoff game, and Joe's heart rate just stays flatline, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think what you see there is just a guy who's playing with a ton of confidence. Not only confidence in his ability, but confidence in what he's seeing. Those are kind of two different things, and they go hand in hand. But to perform at a super high level like Joe is doing right now, you need both. And he's always he's doing a really good job there. So to make those tight window throws, to have the confidence that you can get it in there and that you understand all the different elements that are going to affect the catch point. That touchdown to CJ is a great example. They're playing a technique that we thought they might play, but they were playing it even more aggressively than we anticipated. And so now there's another defender flying into this window that he knows he has, but he's only going to have it for a split second. And his lower body and his mind and his arm all have to match up. And right now they are, and he's doing a really good job.
Man, and I remember, being in playoff games and in the huddle, and you look at your quarterback, and if your quarterback's like, not sure about this, as a team, you're like, uh-oh. But if your quarterback has this steely resolve look in his eyes, and it's like, let's go, boys, we're going to score, we're going to do – that makes all the difference in the world. And I'm sure that's what Kenny Anderson was like his MVP year, Boomer Esiason. I'm sure that's what Joe Burrow's like. And that kind of thing, just that little thing like that just lifts the whole boat. And, I mean, gives everybody a lot of juice, doesn't it?
It does. And I think the biggest thing you see with Joe is just his even-keeled demeanor. And the competitiveness is a given. Like, that's just who he is. He doesn't have to be rah rah and being super vocal, and he does it when he needs to, but it's not necessary. Everyone just understands, well, that's Joe. Joe's an intense competitor, and then on Sunday he's just like that. I mean, he's even as it gets, and so you get the same guy in practice on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as you do on game day, and that puts a lot of people at ease. I think players and coaches alike. It lets you perform in a mind space that's going to let you do your best, because this guy is so even keel.
It's incredible the on the same page, the mental telepathy, the ESP between Joe and Jamar Chase. But, you see it also with Higgins. You see it also with Tyler Boyd. You see it also with CJ Uzomah. What is it about Joe Burrow that everybody seems to be able to kind of read what Joe might be thinking? I mean, it's one thing if the quarterback can do it, but everybody else has to get there as well. How does that happen with the regularity and with so many different guys that it happens with Joe?
Well, Joe's a huge part of all this, right? But I think it would be a mistake not to credit all those individuals that you just mentioned on their own merits.
Yep.
We have a lot of really smart football players, guys that have, that just get it. And not only do they just get it, they're super talented. Right. A lot of times, as you know, the guys that just get it and are the guys that scratch and claw to survive because they need that quality to get to this level. Sometimes the super talented guys, they've never had to maybe necessarily develop a really refined football IQ because they were just better than everyone.
Right.
And we happen to have assembled some players that have, I think, a pretty unique combination of both those things. And so I think those players, outside of whoever the quarterback is, deserve a ton of credit, as well as their coaches who have helped them get to this spot. And then Joe's Joe. I mean, Joe's going to bring out the best in everyone. That's what a great player at that position does. That's what you need him to do. And he's helped us, reach levels that we hope we'd attain, and we got to get better. We got to keep going in that direction, and he'll help us get there.
You're right, Coach. The good Lord doesn't bless every player with both physical and mental skills that are off the charts, and you're talking about a lot of guys that have both of those traits, both of those characteristics. And man, that's a great thing for a coach, isn't it? There's no doubt when you're installing a game plan and that these guys are getting every little nuance of it. How much confidence does that give a coaching staff and get you in a rhythm from a play calling standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd have to ask, Zach and Brian for their perspective on it. But from my standpoint and the parts of the game planning process that I'm involved in, it gives you a ton of confidence. It lets you be a little bit more aggressive in your mindset as a coach, knowing that you have players that maybe can handle, some different nuances. And okay, we did this way last week, but we're going to tweak it a little bit this week because we know what we put on tape and we know what they're drawing on their scout cards and getting ready for. So, hey, we might move you here and we might cut this split a little bit. And, that stuff can get voluminous. It can get, taxing for players, but we have guys that work hard at it, number one, and have the capacity to retain that information. So it gives you a lot of confidence as a coach.
Yeah. It takes me back to the great Paul Brown, my first head coach. He said, Bill Walsh and I, we're going to do the best job we can, man, of making the same things look different and different things look the same. In other words, it's going to be the same throw for the quarterback, but like you said, might be from a little bit different split, or it might be a different matchup. Instead of receiver on slot corner, it might be running back on linebacker. We're going to tweak all that, but it's going to be, basically the core same thing. Linemen, you're going to be blocking the same way, same people. We're not going to challenge you guys all that much, but that sounds elementary, but it's so big, isn't it? Making the same things look different and different things look the same.
Yeah, it's critical, and Frank has a saying that he uses with his guys: master the mundane.
Yep.
Right? And that's what makes you a good player is how do you do the things that you're going to be asked to do over and over and over again at a very high level. And then as coaches, it's exactly what you just said. It's okay. Put your players in position to do the things that they have, thousands and thousands of reps invested in. but do it in such a way that they still have the upper hand schematically, because maybe, the defense can't quite anticipate what they're about to get. And so that's where, Zach does such a great job, and Brian does such a great job, is just putting our guys in position to do these things over and over again, but still give them an edge on the opponent.
I would think Mike Vrabel, knowing him as a football player, he was all about fundamentals and technique and being a physical football player. I'm watching his team a little bit. It seems like, offensively, they're not going to really a lot of formations, motion, window dressing, going to line up and say, here we come. We're bigger, strong. We're coming after you right here. Defensively, is that his mindset? Is he kind of like, here's who we are, here's what we do, we're going to see who's better?
Yeah, I think they're just super sound schematically. They make life hard on you, because similar to the discussion we just had about making different things look the same, that's really what all coaches are shooting to do in some way, shape, or form. And so they do a very good job of disguising looks. They have different variations of coverages that ultimately guys end up getting in the same spots, but for the quarterback and for the receivers who may be trying to read coverage, it looks a little bit different on a snap-to-snap basis. And then, like you said, they play with toughness, they play with confidence, they play intelligently, and I think that's a reflection, of their head coach. So, they're the number one seed in the AFC for a reason, and they're a well-rounded team with good players across the board. So, it's a challenge, but one we're excited about.
They've got some balance up front, Coach, in terms of pass rush. Landry, 12 sacks. Autry has 9. Simmons, who I think the only interior guy that I think might be better is Aaron Donald. Simmons makes a lot of disruptive plays inside. He's got 8.5 sacks. Their 2 safeties are a pretty good duo back there. One's got 5 picks. The other one's got a pick. This defense is most in the NFL that you see on a week-to-week basis. They get players at every level, don't they?
Sure do. And I think they have, really good players in a lot of different spots. This is not a unit where, you go up on Monday and you circle 2 guys and you say, okay, as long as those 2 guys don't beat us, we're in great shape. Well, this isn't really that kind of team. They have really good players across the board. And as a result, they play well together as a unit. So, you got to play your best football. You got to be sound in your approach. And then you trust your playmakers to make more plays than theirs. And I trust our playmakers.
So get you out of here on this one, Coach. Big game, the bigger the game, I always found the bigger this was, make plays, but even more importantly, avoid the big mistake. More games are lost than won. A lot of guys in the NFL are going to make plays. It's the ones that don't make the big mistakes that end up, advancing. And like we talked about, taking care of the football becomes massive, doesn't it? In a situation like this, you want to win that turnover margin like you did against the Raiders. +2 there. Didn't have an interception. The offense didn't put the ball on the ground. Special teams, there was a return, muff a little bit that hit the ground. But the ball, offensively, you guys possessed it all day long. Never put it anywhere but in your own arms.
Yeah, that's been a big part of our success, and we're keenly aware of how important possessing the football is. And the approach with Joe, and I think as a whole is, we're going to attack. It's never wavered from Zach on down. We're going to attack our opponents, but we're going to do so intelligently. We're going to do so with great attention to the details. And ball security is attention to detail. It's how you carry the football. It's how you progress as a quarterback, and you do so in a timely manner, and you throw the ball accurately. Like, those are the details that matter when it comes to ball security. But it's all done within the framework of, we're going to attack, we're going to be aggressive, we're going to score points, because that's what wins you football games. And we're going to keep going down that road.
And I'll tell you, I know as a coaching staff, your mentality is this, and I don't think I've seen a quarterback that has a mentality that fits this more. Play to win the game. Don't play not to lose the game. Joe Burrow plays to win football games. Never mind that playing not to lose. He's getting after it, man.
Yeah, no, you can't afford to have any other mindset. It's obviously game situation dictates your level of aggressiveness as certain factors change on, within a game. But If you go out there, with any other mentality other than here we come, and you got to stop us, you're doing yourself a disservice, particularly when you have the kind of weapons that we have. And so that's what we're going to do. And we trust our guys, and we're going to keep this thing rolling.
It's been a hell of a year so far, Coach. Congratulations on what you've accomplished, and you get your quarterback playing at such a high level. It's something to behold. It's a lot of fun. This football team, exciting, entertaining, man, it's special. I can't wait. I wish the game was right now. I wish we were in Tennessee playing right now. Can't wait for it, man.
I'll be here soon, and we're as excited as everyone else. So we're ready.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Have a great one.
Thanks, Lap.
At First Star Logistics, we're a very strict company that really puts the pressure on our employees. Brakes? What are those?
That's what I'm talking about, Icky. Get the body right, then the mind's right.
Gotta get that body right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Become a star with a chance to earn the highest commission percentages in the industry as a freight broker agent. Check out firststarlogistics.com.